Hey guys, this is Lauren. I know most of you guys are going to be watching the replay today. Um, but today we're going to be talking about fonts and branding and colors. And so this is lesson 2 of our 5-part lesson with Canva. And so let's get started. And so most of you know that my name is Lauren Brantley. I am a DBA and e-designer, and I have been in the industry for over 5 years now. And I have a bachelor's degree in interior design and a master's degree in visual communication design. And my passion is to help designers visually present their designs more effectively. And so that's why I started this group, and that's why I have the course that I have, and that's why I'm continuing to have more courses, and that's why I'm teaching you today. So let's get started with this. So what are we going to learn today? We are going to be learning how to adjust our font in Canva and why we adjust our font in Canva and how to adjust our colors in Canva, and also how to customize our brand in Canva, the very basics of that. So first, let's talk about font/typography. So here's our little typography keywords here. If you're familiar with graphic design at all, you may know some of this, but I think I posted this in the files. This is a little graphic that I made that is from my course. That is just a quick little tool to help you kind of know some of these terminologies. It is helpful, especially when recognizing different types of font, and we'll go on and we'll get into that in the next slide. But there's like sans and sans, there's sans serif, and then there's serif. And so, like, you know, with the ear and the bracket, and that will help you. Just knowing those few little things will help you recognize the difference with those two. But when it comes to the cap line here, you'll see that that's at the top and the bottom. We'll pay attention to that more when we're trying to align our text, as well as the X line, the X height. Now, I talk about this more in depth, and I'll talk about my course later, but I'll talk about this more in depth in my course. And if you want to learn all of that, I highly recommend checking that out. But this is a good little graphic for you just to kind of learn the little keywords of all of those. But this is the most important, just generalized terminology you need to know when it comes to type is serif and sans serif. Serif, of course, has brackets. It always will have brackets at the end of the text. And then sans serif is very modern. It came out in the mid-century, and it's much more of a modern look. It kind of reminds me of like I can't talk now, Bauhaus type look and things like that, but it's very modern. And serif is more of a traditional type look. It's okay to mix the two, but with sans serif, a lot of times you'll be using the same sans serif just at different sizes, different types. And let's see. And here's a good example as far as logo design and typography. So when it comes to mixing, I was, just talking about using the same type of the same type of typography. When it comes to mixing different types like sans serifs and sans serifs and serifs, you want to be careful, especially when using a decorative font like I have in my logo. You need to keep everything very, very clean and put together. And so the thing is with decorative fonts, they have no definition, like as opposed to a normal font. And so what you want to do is make sure that you only use one. You only use one decorative font, not two. I've seen many designers that try to do their logos by themselves. They'll use too many decorative fonts or not have any clean define and where the decorative font should be. So a good way to do that is like how I have done it in my logo. So I have my decorative font, but I've kept it all in with the box. And so it's like, there's Lauren Ashley. And then the design is this a serif font. And then very cleanly, we use a sans serif at the bottom to define what Lauren Ashley design is about, which is your design, our service is a perfect pair. And so when designing a logo, especially, which goes into brand design, you want to make sure that you're keeping everything very clean aligned and nothing gets confused to the reader. So if you're designing a text logo design, but the graphic logo designs, that's a whole nother class in itself. We won't get into that, but text logo designs are really easy to design. So that's what we're more or less talking about today. But first, before we get into color, I want to get into Canva and talk about the text. So let's go back here and create a design. Okay. So when you come to a blank slate here in Canva, what you want to do is come over here and click text. They have all kinds of options here, and it can become a little overwhelming. They have a bunch of different fun little text that you can do, but one feature I want to show you when you scroll all the way down. I know it's right. Let's see. Yes, when you come over here to more and then styles, if you don't have the pro version, because the pro version is where you can create your brain kit, and we'll go into that in a later lesson about brain kits and all that. If you don't have the pro version and you're wanting to create a seamless look, they have trending palettes here, and it'll already match you with text that goes good with certain color palettes and things like that. So you don't have to think about all of what goes on when it comes to typography and everything that I teach in my graphic design class. So you don't have to think about all that. But they have matched some that goes really well, and some of them are really good for interior design. Like this one right here, the one on the top, and the sans text right here. And this one would even be good. I kind of like that one myself. So when you click one, all you have to do is click, and then it'll show you. And it'll also change whatever project you're working on, it'll change it to that style. So we have our text here, and all we have to do is type our name or whatever your business is. And I'm just going to use one word because I think that's what looks good with this design of text. And then that's a really easy way to get a simplistic looking design for any kind of word logo or anything like that. But if you want to like take this a step further, what you'll want to do is start moving things around. And that's when a lot of people get nervous, and that's understandable. But what I like to do is I like to move it to the side and use your guides to help you. See how that's clicking? We talked about guides a little bit, I think, in the last lesson. And when it clicks like that, then you are golden. So we got Lauren Designs, and we're missing Ashley. So we can actually add Ashley now because we have a little bit of room here. So let's see. Let's actually copy this, bring it down a little bit, and type Ashley. Because the key is, what my thought process is, you do not want to usually, I know I have in my logo, my personal brand logo, but typically you do not want to mix more than 2 logo styles. And the reason for that is oftentimes your eyes get really, really confused if there's too many logo styles. But if you are going to mix more than 2, make sure it is very similar to what I've done in my logo that I showed you a few minutes ago. And I've got my branding right here. So let's go back to that. Make sure that it is something that's in the same family of text. So let's see. But for right now, let's click on this one. And a good way of using the same text but changing it up a little bit is making it all lowercase. So what you'll do is you'll click on this little button right here, and right now it's all uppercase, and you'll make it all lowercase. And let's see. And when you do that, make sure you make this one all lowercase as well. You may have to just type it in that way. But now we have 2 different style text, and they're not aligning right. Remember when I talked about a few minutes ago, I talked about the X height? This is when we have to pay attention to that. So we got our Y, that is the X height of the Y right there, like the top to the little where it crosses. And then we got our D. Now the X height of that is the top of the D to the bottom of the D. So we need to align those. Now this is where you're not going to really think about the height of how it's going to snap. Canva's not going to automatically snap to the X height, but you're going to have to visualize like where the X height is. So we're going to bring this down. We're going to decrease. So bring this down a little bit. Because see, it's wanting to snap somewhere else entirely. Okay, so once we get these aligned, as you can see, it's starting to look pretty good. And I don't really like how spread out this Ashley is. I mean, I like the top, but I'm not really liking it next to the designs there. But an easy way to fix that is what we call kerning. And I'm not gonna like go deep into why like all that, but it's really all it is just changing the letter space here. So we're going to bring that back down. And what I clicked was this right here, spacing. And we want a little bit, and we might want to even try to match it to this. So let's just hit space in here. And then let's see. It's 50. It was 50. So we'll type that. That way they both have the same. And then, yeah, we'll bold that. So that way it's similar. And then we'll take, what you want to do is you'll click one and then hold shift and click the other. And then we'll align. And so that's looking pretty good. And then you can either bring this up closer or bring a line through that. What I'll do is add a dot. Let me see. Let's just do a circle here. Ooh, I think I just like that circle right there. That looks really nice. See, some things just sometimes just naturally come together. It's really amazing, actually. Okay. So there's that. And now we've done the text. So let's talk about the other things we can do with text while we're in here. I'm not going to really mess with this, but we're going to talk about text and what all we can really do with it. And let's see. So over here is where you change your text. They have a million different options. They have like basically every single text you can think of. If you have a pro account, you can upload your own text. I recommend that highly, especially if you're wanting a cohesive brand. You will need to have a pro account. Really, if you're really honing in on a cohesive brand, I would really recommend that. That's of course where you change the size. And then here's your text color. One of the cool things, and I don't remember if I showed you guys this last time on the first lesson, but this is also a good way for like a color tip as well. But I use this all the time. Let me find it, my image, or an image in general. Like this image right here, if I want one of the colors to be like one of my branding colors, like let's say you have some photography that is just your brand and you want to get a color from your brand. I use this plugin right here, this hex code plugin from Chrome. I don't know if you guys use Chrome. I highly recommend using Chrome. But I use this color picker and you just click that and then pick a color. And then you can come over here to Canva and then like select the text and come to the plus sign and change it. Oh, why did I do that color? That was not the color. Goodness. This is the color. Command copy or control copy. There we go. And then change the color to that. So you can do that with any color. So that's really helpful. That's usually how I change my colors. That way I know it's exact. Then of course, if you have Pro, you can make your own colors. And there's underline. Some of the options like bold and things will not come up on certain text. So just be aware of that. There's your alignment. This is very important to make sure that's correct. And your spacing, of course. And effects. They have some really neat effects. They even have curve now, so you can create curved text. And to create a whole entire circle, this is a fun little trick. Get a whole entire circle, you just hit Command Copy, Control Copy, place it over the other one, and then rotate it. Make sure it's at a 180, and then make sure the circle exactly aligns with the other one. And then you have a circle of text. So I like that. And I love all the different options they have. Ooh, I like that. I like that shadowing. That looks really good. Okay. And so they have echo as well, which is neat. Ooh, that one looks good too. Just making a whole new brand here while I sit here, you guys. And then they also have animate. So if you're going to make a video, like an Instagram video or a even a YouTube video, if you want this to go like as your first title or whatever for a YouTube video, which would be really neat, you can do a typewriter or a burst or anything like that. And you can do it for each individual one. So let's say I wanted this one to, let's see, which is a cool one. I wanted that one to do that. And then we could do this one as that. And then that one as, let's see. You got to make sure though when you're doing these that it's not distracting. Like you don't want something, you want it to flow. Like, you know how everybody reads left to right? You want it to flow left to right. Like you want to be able to play it and then it be seamless. So let's see how that is. See, it all flows nice. So that's how you can animate your text. You can also animate it as an entire page. So you can just animate them all the same as that thing if you like. And that's a really easy way to do it. All you have to do these is click the animate button. And that's for the text as well. And click that. And it'll automatically change the name to what your animation is. But also, if you would like to copy the style of your text, like everything that you've applied to that text to another text, all you have to do is click it and then click copy style, and then it'll apply directly to that. And see, you change the style, the size, everything. So that's a really useful tool for certain projects. Okay, so I believe that's everything. But like I was saying earlier, over here on text, they have some really fun layouts you can use. And, you know, you can just get creative with those. But next, let's see what's next. Oops, I went off my presentation. Let's get back here. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about color. Let's see. So I didn't have a lot like prepared for color. So I'm really just gonna like walk you guys through color and why you need to really be aware of your use of color here in Canva. I know I talk about this in my class as well, but I know like I'm speaking to the choir when it comes to color, but you want to make sure when you change the color of your logo design or your text or your background, that it truly represents your brand. You don't want, because I've mentioned this in my post this past week, your color can actually change the feeling of your logo. It can literally change how people perceive your brand. And we all know that. And so we just want to be aware of what we're doing. And as you can see, though, also the type can. And before we move into the color, that's a good note to talk about because let's pull up my logo here. So okay, so we have my logo, and this logo really represents my style. It's clean, but it has a little bit of a traditional aspect when it comes to, you see the serif design, and you also see the calligraphy types, the handwritten like type. And my style has developed into almost a Californian type style. So I use them warm, deep colors, and you also have that modern type as well, mixed with the warm, almost traditional look to it. But you know, we're using the same words and the same exact look to it's the same exact words. It's no different message. But when we look at this design right here, that brand that you see here, it screams different volumes. When we see this brand, we think mid-century. I think mid-century. I think someone that truly wants a modern design brand. And so everybody can interpret that different, but I truly think when you see This brand, you're thinking more of the transitional, almost like in modern Cali look, because that's what I was going for. I hope that's what you see. And you see this brand, you think a mid-century type look. And so also the color, we've just changed the type so far. I mean, the colors do make an impact already, but the type is making an impact, a huge impact on this design. So let's talk about the color. So these are deep, warm colors that really make an impact, a welcoming impact. Now, if we were to change the color to red, I mean, how do you instantly feel now? I'm sure most of y'all are feeling like, oh, wow, I wish you would take it off her screen. And that makes me feel anxiety, because actually red does make people feel anxiety. There's been many studies that it makes people feel heightened levels of anxiety when they see a red logo, red types of design, any type of red overwhelming on your screen will make you feel anxiety. But if we turn this logo an orange, that almost makes you feel like you're at a beach somewhere, especially if we turn this little one right here to a, let's see, I don't like that. I like the gold. The gold is nice. Or that white. Yeah. It makes you feel like it's at a beach somewhere. And it doesn't make you feel like it's a interior. I mean, I don't think of it as when I see it, I wouldn't think of it as an interior design business any longer. It screams graphic design or brand design type business, some type of creative business because of the bright look. So that's the type of impact that color can have. So you want to be careful of what colors you choose. So I'm going to change this back. I like warm colors myself for brand design. But I just wanted to talk about that briefly, Jay. When it comes to color, I didn't want to like go deep into color. I got more into it and why you choose the colors that you do in my class, in my like course that I have over at eDesign U. But I do want to talk about briefly the advantage on all of this when you have the pro version of Canva. You do get to keep up with all your fonts and all your colors here in the little brand kit, and your logos and everything can stay organized. So I recommend you guys checking it out. We'll go more into Canva Pro later on. And then let me see. If anybody has, let's see, let me turn present so y'all can see this. If anybody has any questions about anything, you feel free to email me. I don't accept DMs on social media. I just want to get that out there. But I don't accept DMs on social media typically. If you do email me, please allow 24 hours for me to email you back. I'll try to get back to emails like as soon as possible, but don't be mad at me if I don't email you back instantly. So let's see. Coming up next in our class, we're going to talk basic logo design. We're going to go more in depth about logo design, and we're going to talk about the different types of logos you can create in Canva and things like that. And then next, we're going to talk about Canva Pro. And then finally, in January, we're going to talk about the Pinterest essentials when using Canva. We're going to talk about, this is going to be an exciting one. We're going to talk about how you can connect your Pinterest to Canva and how you can schedule out your Pinterest documents and how to bulk create Pinterest documents or Pinterest pins, which is really fun. I use a really simple, easy workflow for that. And if you've bought my Pinterest templates over at the store, which I highly recommend, if you've bought those, it's going to be so easy for you. You have no idea. So that's going to be really fun. And if you've heard me talking about the course over this seminar that we've been having, the course is over at eDesign and I'm going to link drop the link in the description of this video. And we go really in depth of everything I've talked about and more about why you should use graphic design as a tool in your interior design business. And we talk about Photoshop briefly, and then we go through a brief overview of Illustrator, InDesign, and why you should use Canva, and maybe if you should use all three of those. And it's really important for you as an interior designer. I truly believe it's important for all interior designers to learn the basics of graphic design and implement into their business in this ever-growing media world. And that's why I created this class. And so I hope you will jump over there and check it out. And let's see. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. And next, I want to remind you of the announcement I made last time coming in 2022. Can't believe it. Okay. We will be having Canva for interior designers. This is going to be an expansive class that is just truly focused on Canva. We're not going to be talking about the ins and outs of graphic design. It's going to be like these 5-part series videos. These 5-part series videos is truly an intro to what we will be talking about. We are going to be going deep into Canva, and you are going to be learning how to become a Canva pro. And I'll be going through how to create documents that I create for my store daily, and also how to create documents that you do not see on my store. So you'll want to join us for the Canva course for interior designers coming in 2022. I hope you've enjoyed this. I know most of y'all are watching the replay, but I hope y'all enjoyed this, and I'll see you over at the group. Y'all have a great day.